Hey, everybody, welcome back to Rock and Roll Confessional.
Hey, where were you?
Well, I was just taking a chill pill, man. We're hanging out for a little bit, reorganizing, getting our brains in gear. So here we are back with another episode after our break. Rita Wild here, CW here. We're both here.
Hey, CW.
In case this is your first episode, I'm CW, and that's Rita Wild. And we're the hosts. And what do we got?
This is our show.
I'm very excited because we've known this young lady. She's younger than me. I am, that's for sure. Which means she's younger than you are, not that you're older than I am.
Screw you. You don't talk about age.
Not with our ladies.
No, actually.
Yeah.
With age comes wisdom, right?
Absolutely.
Anyway, she's amazing. Singer-songwriter Beth Hart joins us in our latest interview. Beth rose to fame in the 90s with her blues rock vocals and her amazing piano playing. She suffered many years with some personal demons, but has now overcome them and doing really well. She has released 10 solo albums and 4 with Joe Bonomassa, and now has released her 11th solo album titled A Tribute to Led Zeppelin, where she belts out 9 of her favorite Led Zeppelin tracks with her vocal style emphasized on each song. Beth's raw vocals put her in the category of one of the best female vocalists of all time. And it just is so amazing to hear her with this Led Zeppelin orchestrated music. It's so good.
Yeah, I was blown away. It was so nice. We heard one song and then we finally got the album sent to us and it was like, wow, this is incredible. She does so good. She's so good. So anyway, here we go with our interview with musician Beth Hart. Beth Hart.
Hi. It's a little bit of a delay, but I can hear you. How are you?
Nice to see you again, Beth. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Thank you so much for doing this podcast. You are one of the most amazing singers I have ever heard.
You're high, but thank you very much.
I'm not high, but I'm high. I'm high on Beth Hart. I think Beth Hart should be up there, talked about like Adele and Beyonce. Man, that's what Beth Hart.
Oh my God.
Beth Hart belongs up there. I mean, just your vocals, your intonation, your pathos with the words, everything is just amazing. And with a lot of this stuff, a lot of times I write down questions and stuff, but this time, I think I'm just gonna, we're just gonna go out to the water, jump off the pier into the deep end, and then just see where the current takes us.
I love that. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, love that.
So, Beth, you've got a brand new album out, or coming out. A tribute to Led Zeppelin, which we're definitely going to talk about. And we'd love to hear your thoughts on that because both Rita and I got a copy last week and have been listening to it. And it's absolutely an amazing piece of work. Since we saw you perform at the Mark and Brian Christmas show, which I think was maybe the early 2000s when you did Whole Lot of Love at that show. Yeah. It's just been one of those things that it feels like we've been waiting for this album all these years for you to do this album.
Wow, it's crazy because, it wasn't my idea at all. And when I was approached about doing it, I turned it down immediately. So it's got a kind of funny, interesting story about it. You want to get into it now, so I can tell you
we're taking a deep dive. Where the current takes us,
Okay.
Watch out for the wind.
So
another boat.
So a few years ago, I was at a dinner party where Rob Cavallo's house is, and one of my best oldest girlfriends, Erica, her sister is Rob's wife of many years. So I was there, and I just got up on the piano that night and was playing a few pieces that I'd written that week. Anyway, he comes up to me after and he goes, "Hey, I really want to produce those 3 songs." And it ended up where he produced a whole album. So we were working on an album called War in My Mind. And one day I was in the control room because we had a choir that we were recording on a song called Let It Grow for that record. And we were on break. And he said, "Listen, I've got this 88-piece orchestra recording that I made with a wonderful arranger. It's a Whole Lot of Love." And he goes, "And I know that you know the song. I know that you've done it on Live Parodies So DVD years ago. You do it sometimes." He goes, "Would you mind laying down a quick vocal?" And I said, No problem. And he gave me the mic and he put some ears on me, and I was just still in the control room. And I laid down a pass, and then I looked over at him and to see, if he was happy, and he was filming it. And he goes, "Do me a favor, do it one more time." And I did it again. And then he said, "Cool." He goes, let's get back to work. And so we didn't go into it after that at all. We just got back to work, finished the record that we were working on. And then I did promo. I went on one tour for War. And then at the end of that tour is when COVID hit. Everything got shut down. So I got a call, and the call was Rob had made a project where he had recorded an 88-piece orchestra for 16 pieces of Led Zeppelin. Some are medleys, some are singular pieces. And it was for a show for Broadway. And the project fell through. So after all that work, after meeting you or whatever, he decided he wanted to have a singer do it. And I said, no way. And I said, no way for a lot of reasons. I usually say no to everything anyway first, because I'm a scaredy cat about everything. And I don't just mean music. I mean everything. I don't even go to the supermarket by myself. I got a lot of social anxiety, and I got a lot of insecurity.
Hi, my name's Rita. Hi, Beth. We're in that same club, okay? All right.
Are we in that same club? Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, my God. So I just try and avoid people. That way I know I can avoid saying or doing something stupid, right? So anyway, I say no. But then I'm thinking, too, I had been on mental medication for many years. And one of the medications that I'd been on suppress all your traumas and your all your anxieties. It's an antipsychotic. And I'd been on it for years. And I remember when I'd gotten put on it, I was 35. I'd been put on it off and on before, but when I was younger, but I got consistently put on it and misdiagnosed as a bipolar 1. And that was the reason I was put on it. And it started causing a lot of organ damage, and eventually TD was inevitable. So when COVID hit, I decided to get off of it. And I had to slowly come off of it very carefully. It does a lot of stuff with your heart. Anyway, when I got off of it, not only did I get all my feelings back, right, but all my trauma from how I grew up had come back. And I was in with my trauma specialist working on that, as I have been since I was 28 with him. I fired my psychiatrist, got rid of that guy who had convinced me of a bunch of bullshit, excuse my language, but I had to get away from that guy. He was just sucking the money, And suddenly I started getting pissed off because I'm seeing people march for equality, and then I'm seeing so many people rejecting that inequality even exists, right? So that's very angering. And then all the politicians and all the horror going on all around the world, and then being afraid people are dying here left and right. And who's going to die? Am I going to die? My husband's going to die. Is my parents going to die? And just all of it. And suddenly I started feeling a lot of intense anger. And I knew there was no way to do what I've been doing for years as a way to exercise my stuff. And that is to play live, play the songs, tell the stories. And it's like, doing shows is like going to church. It's like confession. It's like you just get it off your chest, right? And you're not alone. You got an audience there, and you do it together, and you get all your stuff out together. And that was gone. So that's when I felt like I could do that record. And I called over and I said to Wolf, I said, please have Rob send me, because I didn't grow up listening to Led Zeppelin. I only knew a whole lot of Love because my band told me to learn it in my late 20s. And they were rock and rollers. So that was the only reason why I learned it. The only other 2 songs I kind of knew as a kid was I Love Black Dog and I Love Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, which reminded me of my daddy when he left when I was a kid. So those 2 songs I really connected to, but I didn't own any Zeppelin. So I had asked Wolf to ask Rob, please send me all of Zeppelin's live stuff of them doing these songs, all the recordings of doing these songs, the remastered versions, and then also all the work you've done with the orchestra. And I just started studying and learning. And because we were on lockdown, I couldn't be there recording with anybody together. So I have a studio at my house, but it's not for recording. It's just for rehearsals and writing. So these trucks came up. My husband had to build the studio properly the way Rob told him to do it. And then on Zoom, we had Rob in his studio at home. And then on another Zoom computer, we had Doug, the engineer, on his computer at home. And then we had the proper mic set up in my room downstairs. So what we would do is we would take 2 or 3 songs each night, and then we would break it all down the next day, and I wouldn't see them again for 2 or 3 months. So we did this over a period of a year, and we did 16 different pieces, all the pieces that he had done for the show. And then finally the lockdown lifted, and he brought me, my manager, David, and also my husband to his home studio, played us the mixes. I just fell on my knees crying. I couldn't, it's even going to make me cry right now because, it was just
cathartic.
It was really, it was healing. And also I was so scared to do it. And Rob and Doug were fucking awesome, man. They held my hand through that whole thing. I learned a lot about how brilliant Page and his incredible vocabulary with his chords and arrangements and plants, poetry, and a lot. I've heard from doing these interviews, I've heard a lot of questions asked about, was I ever offended with some of the sexism or whatever? I didn't find it that way at all. I found that the narrative overall with Plant was, of course, he was a young guy. He wanted to get laid, so he would write about women and want to be with them. That's awesome, you know what I mean? But he also had a narrative where he had a lot of awareness of history and war and the Vikings, and there was an interest in that. And then, of course, you hear Stairway to Heaven, which to me, anyone that can write a lyric like that is someone who either had a mother or a grandmother or an aunt or someone that they loved, maybe lost, and had so much adoration for. And that song reminded me a lot of my sister. I lost my sister to AIDS. And so that song really made me fall in love with Plant even more. I had no idea that John Paul Jones played keyboard like he did. So no quarter blew my mind. So it was very humbling, challenging to say the least, but very cathartic for me, man. I got to get out a lot of rage. And lyrically, there is no rage in Led Zeppelin, but it's the sound, it's the music, it's that aggressiveness that it has.
Intensity.
Yes. And I got to scream that stuff out. And that was really healing for me. And then on other things like, Stairway to Heaven, it's more gentle, and the Rain Song, more gentle. So it was a nice range for me to kind of get out some of my stuff, So I'm very grateful to the whole project. But the way Rob did this thing, man, as scared as I was, he was even more scared because we knew we were dealing with hallowed ground. This is hallowed ground, Led Zeppelin. No one ever made music like Led Zeppelin before they did it. And no one's ever made that kind of genre since. No one. It's like Sabbath. Nobody does Sabbath. Nobody does freaking Led Zeppelin. They're just their own entity of what they did. And so it was like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? And not, make Zepp fans want to shoot us on the street. So, yeah.
That's the thing, though, that, like you said, with their catalog, their product, it means so much to so many different people. I don't want anybody to cover Led Zeppelin. There's only 2 people I will allow that. Ann Wilson to do Stairway to Heaven, and you and your record, because you blended with it and you brought out more. And the orchestration is what I absolutely love, because to be honest, like 40 years in the business or something like that, or listening to the radio, after a while, Stairway to Heaven just is like, okay, it becomes, I don't want to say background music, but if it's played every day on the radio several times a day, it's like you kind of like tune it out. So I missed that.
I understand you.
I missed that on the album. And then I went back to it because it's like, okay. And holy shit, I got the goosebumps, the chills. I listened to it again. I never do that because it was just so real and honest. And I love, like I said, the instrumentation, like even in Kashmir, it sounds like one time, it sounds like listening to Sgt. Pepper for the first time, because I hear car horns, or it sounds like elephants or something. And the stampede.
I know.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Kashmir is ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, the whole album.
How did they even come up with it? It's like, how did those guys do what they, and at that age, incredible. And then you see these lovely musicians, And then, like you said, the orchestration and the way Rob and Doug mixed it, all of it, and they chose the 9, they got rid of the other pieces. They chose all that. They did the order. They helped us with the title. I mean, all of it. This is Rob's baby, man. And the way he took care of all of us was, especially for someone like Rob Cavallo, this is the thing I love about this guy. Okay. I've worked with a lot of producers through the years, only a few scumbags, and that's cool. I can handle. I grew up in the bail bond business. The music business is Disneyland after the way I grew up. I can handle it all day long. But most of the people I've worked with in the music business have been lovely, and I'm thankful for that. But Rob, this is what I think is so amazing about him. He ran Warner Brothers. He was CEO of Warner for years. He's done countless albums. And the way he behaves, which reminds me so much of Jeff Beck, Slash, other great artists that I had the privilege of working with, it's all about working with the group. So there is no dictatorship. There is no ego like that. It's all about working with, no man is his own island. So the best you're going to get, whatever you're doing in life, is when you're working with your group and you're letting everyone know how much you need their input, their talent, and you encourage that out of them. And I saw him do that with all of us. Just ultimate respect and real sincerity and empathy. It's great. That guy he's a real talent, but he's a good person, man. That dude is a good dude. And he really killed this thing. And the drummer, I don't even call the drummer by his name. You know what I call him? Bad motherfucker. I did 2 music videos with him. And I showed up on the first day. I said, man, because I knew Matt Logg did Stairway to Heaven, but the other guy did all the rest, right? So I show up and I say, listen, man, I'm sorry, no disrespect. I don't know your name. I don't want to know your name. Is it okay if I call you bad motherfucker? And he starts laughing and he goes, yes, you may. And I go, you need to call your business managers or your accountant. You need to have them legally change your name to bad motherfucker. So when you get pulled over by the cops, they have to look at your ID and say, Mr. Motherfucker, step out of the car. He killed it. He's the star of the whole record. He killed it. I mean, when he goes from Dancing Days into When the Levee Breaks, get the frick out of here. It's just so good. So good.
You have 2 medleys on the album. That's one of them. And whose idea was it to, instead of recording the entire song, to do it more in a medley style?
Everything is Rob. Rob and the arranger that he worked with. Yeah, that's all Rob. And all that stuff had been already pre-done by an orchestra. So when I laid the vocals, there was really no drums, guitars there. If there were, it was way in the back. So I was just singing to the orchestra. Wow. And it wasn't until that day I showed up to a studio when COVID restrictions had lifted a little bit that he decided to push the orchestra to the back of the mix and bring the drums, bass, guitars, all that forward. And he made that decision at the last minute. He hadn't discussed that with us. And I was so glad that he did, because after all, this is about Zeppelin. You know what I mean? It's not about an orchestration Broadway show. This is about Zeppelin and a real tribute to them, So of course you had to hear those drums in your face and bass and all that they did, those guitars and incredible work that Page did. That had to be in the forefront. So I think that was a smart decision he made.
Well, it officially comes out February 25th. And I noticed that you're already got some tour dates lined up. In fact, just not through 22, you've got dates lined up now through 23. You're going to be busy out on the road.
Well, we hope so, man. COVID keeps shutting things down left and right, especially for artists that are in my level. I noticed that you'll have a 5-6 week tour booked and you usually take 4 weeks off, and you go back out for 5-6 weeks, and you do that all year, every year. And all my friends that are touring, it's getting cut down by at least 2/3. So they're maybe getting to do 1/3 of their tour. So that's the thing is, so far we just did 3 weeks Romania, 1 show Bulgaria, and then we did 5 shows in England. And that was supposed to be an 8-week tour. So that thing got all chopped up. And now we're going out on, I think it's on a 5-6 week American run. And I'm praying, that no one gets sick. And of course, and that we can just get through it. And it's so hit or miss right now. That's just the way it is in the whole world, not just with touring, with everybody. It's hit or miss. this COVID thing is, I just got it too. So
if you're afraid of everything, how are you comfortable about going out on tour?
Scared. Definitely. I'm scared. I'm always scared anyway, because even when I've been off for 4 weeks, I always am trepidatious about those first couple of shows. Also flying, I always think I'm going to die. I'm a hypochondriac. So like, I'm always like tripping about something, right? And then once I get past those first couple of shows, then I don't feel like I'm in front of the firing squad as much. But then I still have those moments where I think, oh, the crowd is going, Jesus, when's the show going to be over? Why'd I pay the money to be here? I got to get the hell out of here. This girl's driving me crazy. So I got a lot of that goes through my mind. But then now we're going to incorporate some Led Zeppelin. So now it's even on a whole nother level. And it's like, oh my God, you can't train wreck Zeppelin, you know? I'm already a female doing Zeppelin. It's like, that's already against me. So there's that. There's COVID. There's a lot. There's not being used to being touring. So I'm just trying to pray a lot. I'm praying a lot, to get outside my own ego and fear. And I'm trying to have a little faith that something greater than all of us has got us right where we're supposed to be. And hopefully we're going to learn some good stuff about ourselves and each other, make some changes, and move forward past this thing, man. Maybe they come out with a vaccine where you can't even catch it in the air anymore. That would be wonderful, So, yeah.
Talk about some of the other records that you've made. The one previous to Warn My Mind. That was a beautiful record. Everything you wrote most of that stuff yourself, and just the emotion on it, the delivery on it, everything on it was just beautiful. And then I got to go with Black Coffee. My God.
Oh, the cover
Holy
record with
crap.
Joe. It's funny. That's my least favorite record too.
Is that right?
That's my least favorite record I did with Joe. The first two I love. The last one was a nightmare. Nightmare. Yeah, but you know what? For me, a record to me is not the outcome. It's the experience of making it. And some of the people that were involved were not our original group that we used for the first two. And so I'm very sensitive and I get triggered by people real easy. So if I come across any kind of personality that to me represents any kind of ego, or they're too cool for the school of the room, man, I got to get the frick out of there. And so there was one of those involved in that. I won't say any names, even though I'd love to, because I have no filter and I have no boundaries and I don't give a shit. But I'm not going to do that because I'm too old. I'm 50. I got to grow up.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you, man. Thank you. But yeah, that record, I had a tough one on that record. Yeah, I think that'll be our last record too. Aww. But I love those first two records. I loved them. And I love doing that live record with Joe. Had a ball. I learned a lot getting to do all those covers. And it was a good time. Kevin Shirley, great producer. He did a great job on those. But yeah, the Black Coffee one, it's when the song Saved, Laverne Shirley. I love that one. Lullaby Believes. I learned that from Ella Fitzgerald. Love that one. So, I love all that jazz and that soul and that gospel. But Give It Everything You Got. When you listen to the Michael Rhodes bass solo on that is insane. That is insane. And so when I hear that, I love that. But on the song Black Coffee, the way the band played it was phenomenal. But I was disappointed in myself that I tried to copy lead singer of Humble Pie, Steve Marriott.
Oh yeah.
I tried to copy him too much instead of doing my real homework and trying to make it more of my own. So I was disappointed that I did that. I kind of did a cop out on that. But then again, I felt weird about doing it any other way because he did it so incredible. Yeah. And I really wanted to try and embrace his spirit on that. And I know his daughter's alive. So I wanted to show homage to her for that too. But I think it was the experience that was tough for me. So that's why I can't listen to it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But it just beautiful record though. And all your stuff with Joe, it just kind of, his guitar work lended to your vocals, and it's beautiful work, and you should be very proud of that. And Strange Fruit, that's another one of those songs that, oh my God.
God.
How can the most amazing song
Yeah.
Wow.
And you killed it. I mean, you killed it. It was just absolutely killed it in a good way. I mean,
Thank you. Have you guys seen the latest Billie Holiday movie?
Yes. The one from last year,
God.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm trying to remember who was starring it. Yeah, that was very good.
Was
amazing.
That and I didn't, and I had read her, she had done a book where it's in her own words when I was young. But I didn't know from reading that book until I saw the movie why they kept putting her in jail. And they were setting her up with drugs just so they could put her away because she refused to stop singing Strange Fruit.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy?
She was such a hero. What an amazing, like a Nina Simone, man. Just unstoppable. She was going to do what she knew was right no matter what. And I just love her. Love me some Billie, man. God bless her. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
All right. We are taking a break. Want to thank everybody for listening. We love you guys so much. And we love doing this podcast. It's our way to reach out to all of our rock and roll fans. And we have no sponsors, just dedicated fans like you. So please support us by doing one or more of the following. Just go to Facebook or Instagram and follow us and like our posts. Please also share our posts when you can with your rock and roll friends. 2, you could write a review wherever you listen. Please take 3 minutes. That's it. 3 minutes. And then also subscribe to the podcast so that every time we release one, it automatically comes to you. We need all the help we can get. Hey, Rita Wild. So I know it'd be hard to do a Beth Hart trivia question, but how about a Led Zeppelin trivia question?
Okay. What are the songs that she covers on her new album? The Led Zeppelin song Kashmir was not originally called Kashmir. What was the original song title? Was it Yellow Desert Stream, Driving to Kashmir, Kashmir Valley Girl, or My Shangri-La?
All right. Answer after the second half. So here we go with part 2 of our interview with Beth Hart. One of my favorite songs, Beth, that you do, that I know is obviously really close to your heart, which is Leave the Light On.
Yeah.
It's just such a beautiful, and I know there's some videos on YouTube of you at the piano singing this song, and it's so, well, I'll let you, I mean, if you want to quickly give the story, but it's just so touching and emotional and raw for you, I think, to sing that song.
Yeah. So the story with that song was, I had been struggling with different types of ways of numbing myself since I was like 10. And I had a lot of trauma in childhood. So it was only natural that I was going to start doing all kinds of things to get out of my mind and my head and my stuff. But I was always able to keep it in control, right? Like a functioner and like a functioning addict. And then when I had worked really hard and I got lucky and Atlantic had signed me to a 3-way deal with 143 Lava and then directly to Atlantic. And I did Immortal, and the record did well in like 2 spots in the world. Otherwise, it was a total failure. And then I turned and screamed for my supper. And I remember when it was the first time being called into the main office in New York at the big table where Ron was CEO at the time. And he said, listen, you got 7 hit songs on this record. Get ready. You're going to be a star. And I remember thinking in that moment, oh, hell no, I'm not. I don't want it. I don't want to be pigeonholed. And I knew that I didn't have a strong enough mental immune system to handle fame. I knew it. And I also knew I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready by a long shot as a singer, as a writer. So I remembered in that moment saying, I'm going to burn my Lego set down. Like, you build a Lego set as a kid, and the best part is just kicking the crap out of it and ruining it. And that's when I allowed my addiction to go full blown. And I'd taken it so far that it wasn't just drugs, it was full blown anorexia. And I was dying. And my husband comes into my life. He's working for me. I remember I went into a few rehabs and then I started going into psych wards. And everyone in my life I'd pushed out. Atlantic dropped me. Thank God they dropped me. Saved my life. And my first psych ward, it was Scott, and he was coming. And I got kicked out of my apartment. I moved in with my husband down in Huntington. And I hadn't married him yet. But he was the one that was there. And I remembered being at a place where I was so ashamed of myself, but I was more than ashamed. I was angry. And I think that because LA Song had done so well for me here, it was my way of saying F you to my family and everything I'd gone through growing up as a kid. So I wanted to die. I wanted to ruin it all. And I wanted everybody to feel bad about it. And that's the thing about anorexia is of all psychiatric illnesses, it is the most angry and it is the most passive aggressive because you make everyone around you suffer watching you slowly die, right? And you're the one in control. They can't force you to eat. So once I started working with a trauma specialist, his first thing he worked with me on wasn't even drugs. It was eating disorder, body dysmorphia, and anger. And he helped me and he saved me with that. Well, after that, I wouldn't let myself, and I've been playing piano since I was 4. I'd play it all day, every day. And I didn't have any friends in school because every time I made a friend, I'd sit him in front of the piano and play for him. So I was addicted to the piano. That's where I found comfort, was in the piano. And it was the first time that I made myself not play the piano anymore. I felt like I didn't deserve it. So I just sit in front of it. And then one day, this is after Scott married me. This is when I started in 12-step. I'd finally started getting sober. And I had to get sober from a lot of different things that I used to get high. It wasn't just drugs. I had a lot of different self-abusive things I do. So it was a lot of work to be done. And that was the first song that I had started writing. And then I took it to Oliver Lieber. He helped me complete it. He also comes from a lot of trauma as a kid. He's also a recovering addict. And so we wrote that song, and that song represents, confession of, wow, look how far I've gone down, right? Look how ashamed I am, but I still want to learn to love and live. I still want it. And that's what I love about the song is that no matter how far you fall, no matter how bad things you think you've done or have done, no matter what mountains are in front of you, all you have to have inside you is one thing, and that is a fight to want to live. That's it. All the medication, all the therapy, all the prayer, all that is all good said and done. But if you don't have that fighter inside you that says, hey, no matter what it is, I want to live. There's always somebody who's got it worse than you, always. And you look at people like James Brown, what he came through. And even though he was a crazy motherfucker and beat the crap out of women and did all the stuff he did, he still survived. He lived, he grew old, he made great music, and it's just like, I'm kind of at a point now where I don't even believe there's such thing as bad people. I think it's just there's people that are sick and some are sicker than others. And then you just got people that are raised right and they're good, like my husband. They're just good. They're good all the way around. People like, Mother Teresa. You got people out there that are just good. And then you got people that are just sick. And they either inherit mental illness or it's in nature or nurture, So that was one of the ways that I've started to try and forgive myself. And that's what Light On is about. If you can't forgive, you can do something even better, which entails no judgment. It's just acceptance. It is what it is. And you try to accept all of who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I think that's what Light On stands for. At least it does to me,
Yeah, it's such a beautiful song. And my wife, she's a therapist. One of the things that she's told me is that sending people to rehab when they're not ready is never going to do anything. And just like you said, you have to have that want to make that change. Otherwise, it's just a waste of money and time for everybody.
Absolutely. And what's so sad is that no matter how many people love you, once you're that far down the hole, you don't care. It's addiction is an extremely self-centered, selfish disease, and it's filled with lies that you come to believe that drug is your only friend. And whatever that drug is, gambling, sex, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that's numbing you out. And that's what's so tricky about it. And that's what's so beautiful about reaching out for help or hitting a bottom. But unfortunately, all diseases, you got diabetes 1, you got diabetes 2, you got insulin resistance, different forms of sugar disorders. Some addicts have no bottom. Like my sister Sharon, she had no bottom. Amy Winehouse, I remember seeing her live. Brilliant. So brilliant. Comes out on stage. And I saw her eyes and I turned to my husband and I said, that's a no bottom addict. She's not going to make it.
Mm.
And it's just some people, there is no bottom they can hit to snap them out of it, to make them want to come out of it. And it's a sad thing, but it's true, you know?
Do you consider yourself blessed and very fortunate that you were able to crawl out of that rabbit hole?
Beyond blessed to have the help to crawl out of that rabbit hole and to be surrounded by people who on a consistent basis let me know that I'm messing around with a new rabbit hole. So that's what an addict I am, is sometimes I'll be messing around in a hole that I don't even realize is a hole. So I surround myself with good doctors, good therapists, and good people. So my husband, band, crew, friends, everyone in my life are people that come from really good upbringings. I don't even surround myself with people in recovery anymore. I don't go to 12-step anymore. I just surround myself with people who know how to live so well, that are better at everything that I'd like to be, you know, more moral, more honest, more hardworking, more disciplined. They just come from really good places. So they set that bar around me. And then whenever I start fiddling around or regressing, like especially with stress of any kind, I will regress, and they call me out on it in a very loving and empathetic way. And they set me straight and they keep me from falling there. So that's what I'm grateful for, because I know that on my own, there's no way I could have done it. I do have a fighter. I have a fighter, but that fighter can be used for good things and can be used for just as bad of things. Yeah. Yeah. I got a cobra, a hyena, and an angel that lives inside here. You don't want to see the cobra. My Lord. That's the bad one. That's the bad one. But I do have an angel inside. My father named the angel when I was little. And I remember when I said to Scott, I said, "What the hell's wrong with you, man?" He asked me to marry him in rehab. I said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And he said, because he's a biker. And he goes, "I like my women like I like my Harleys. 20 years old and lots of problems. And I happen to be the woman of all the women he dated with the most problems." And he said, "That's the girl for me." And he's raised so good. He comes from Minnesota. He has a wonderful upbringing. He went to college. He's a good guy. He's moral all the way around. But he would be bored out of his mind with a straight-laced girl. So I just happen to be the one for him. That's the only reason why he's still married to me. And I keep telling him, "Run, motherfucker, run. Go get yourself a good woman." And he's like, "I'd be bored." He goes, "You're the perfect woman for me." So I guess there's an ass for every face, and I'm the one for him. Thank God. Thank God. Serious, you guys.
I want to talk to you about Janice, because you did that play.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such an incredible play. I didn't see you in it, unfortunately, but, you know, I could just imagine you doing that and living it.
Yeah, you know, so I went and auditioned for that actually after I had a dinner with Amit Erdogan, the owner and founder of Atlantic. And in the dinner with Amit, we were all partying our balls off that night. I actually took my dress off at the dinner, and I spilled.
And you were straight, right?
No. We were all drinking. I mean, it was a party and a half. And Amit could roll like nobody could roll. And I remember getting naked, and he said, "Hey, come over, sit over next to me, you crazy motherfucker." So I sat next to Amit, and I spilt wine all over him, and he was like, "I don't care." And he said, "Whatever you do, don't do anything Janice." And I said, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Your voice is too similar. You'll pigeonhole yourself." And I said, "Okay." And then boom, I get the offer to do it. And my manager said, "Listen, it's an off-Broadway show. It's in Cleveland. Go ahead and do it. It'll be good for you. You know, you listened to her as well when you were 19. People turned me on to her when I was 19. I listened to a lot of her stuff. I loved her like everybody else did. She was incredible. She was a pioneer, strong, amazing lady." So I went and auditioned, never thinking I'd get it. And I got it. And then I studied for it, and I did a good job in Cleveland. I was very focused and disciplined. I held back. I couldn't sing the way she sang. I wouldn't have had a voice to make it through all those shows. Because, you know, on Broadway, you're doing a lot of nights a week. You're doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 2 shows, Saturday and Sunday. So I knew that I had to be really disciplined. I couldn't just scream. I wouldn't make it through it. But then when I did Screaming for My Supper record, that was right after that show. And that's when I went full blown ill. So that's when I got let go of Atlantic. Then I got an offer to do the show again. And this time I did it in San Diego and I did it in New York, again, off Broadway. Both times, terrible job, because then it became different. Then not only was I still not well enough to be taking on such a disciplined project like that, but I had a taste of real addiction where it had gone all the way. So in that show, she dies every night. That particular show was called Love Janice by Randy Mylers, who wrote it and directed it. So in that show, she dies every night. And at that point, I couldn't handle that because it became very real to me. So I remember when I finished the last run in New York and I said to Randy, I said, I won't be able to do this show again. I'm sorry I let you down on these last 2 runs. But I just can't handle it. It was too much. It was too much pain because she didn't make it. It's kind of like surviving a plane crash, you know, and you're happy you survived, but you feel guilty that you did and they didn't. And I remember when Amy Winehouse died too, that was the same thing that came up. It's like, why didn't she make it and why did I? And so there's that survivor's guilt, you know, and I think I had a lot of that on those next 2 runs with poor Janice, because she was so wonderful. And if she would have survived her addiction, I can't even imagine the amount of music and vocabulary that she would have delved into afterwards and where she would have morphed and how incredible, you know, she was, you know, tenacity, courage, and then talent. So, yeah.
You have those same things though, too. You know, you've got that tenacity, you've got talent. And I would go out on a limb here and say, you're probably your own worst critic, which, yeah, I think that's pretty obvious. But girl, you've got some amazing talent. And, you know, the fact that you've been able to live that, you know, to experience that and to come out on the other side, that's so remarkable.
And to share it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah. I mean, you're just so freaking talented and just, you know, you deserve.
God has been really good to me, man. I mean, I'm definitely going to hell, but I'm not going to go to the worst part. But listen, I already know where I'm going. This is where I'm going. Me and my dad are going to be at the baccarat table in hell. He's going to have his gin. I'm going to have my Knob Creek. That's what I had to give up. My Knob Creek bourbon, and I'm going to have a cocktail waitress on my lap, and my dad's going to have his strippers, and we're going to have a good time. And then every once in a while, God is going to let Scott come and visit, and that's where we're going. I know that's where we're going. Yeah. But I think I got a shot to at least live to be old. I hope so, because I do want to live, man. Because being alive, no matter how hard it gets, there are so many more incredible parts of it. Love, nature, music, watching people do things where they lay their life down to save and help somebody else. I mean, there is so much more beauty in life than there is horror. And we know the horror, but man, it's making sure we keep our eyes open to see all the beauty, because there's so much more beauty. There's so much more reasons to hang on and fight and hang in there, man, and get through it and know that we can, but we can't do it alone. We got to do it together. We need each other. We just do.
True.
Love it. Okay, Beth, it's time for the bonus round questions. All right. These are the fun questions. We don't have to be serious anymore.
What was the first concert you went to?
So it was The Temptations, Smokey Robinson, and the Four Tops.
Oh my God.
And my mama took me to see it. Yeah, and it blew my mind. It was unbelievable. And my second concert was Patti motherfucking LaBelle, baby.
Whoa.
And that was unbelievable. My best friend Ron took me to see her, and that was just like watching an alien from another planet. Just incredible. Yeah, those were my first 2.
Who would you want to meet that you've never met?
Oh God, I wish I would have met Leonard Cohen. I would have gotten his coffee. I would have been his pedicure person. I would have done anything for him.
Would you sit on his lap?
The ultimate writer of all time. I don't even have the honor to sit on his lap. I would only bow to his feet and get him whatever he needed at all times. Greatest songwriter and poet of all time, Leonard Cohen, hands down. Yeah.
Who was the first rock star that you met?
The first rock star that I met.
That you kind of got, my God, that's so-and-so, and I can't believe I'm, singing or playing with this person or just meeting this person.
God, man. I mean, Geza X, who, was the producer of Dead Kennedys and a lot of the punk bands. And I was his background singer when I was a teenager. He's pretty amazing. He's the one who produced Meredith Brooks' I'm a Bitch.
Oh, God, I love that song.
That big pot hit. Yeah, Geza X was pretty rad, more underground, but I remember meeting him and being pretty blown away by his talent, his wildness, his everything. Very cool guy. But yeah, probably Geza. Yeah.
What band do you regret never seeing live?
I mean, there's so many. I would have loved to have seen Bob Marley. I would have loved to have seen Steel Pulse. I did get to see Etta, thank God. I would have loved to have seen Howlin' Wolf in person. Oh my God. Otis Redding. Oh my God. Sam Cooke. Sarah Vaughan. Laverne Baker. Aretha Franklin. James Taylor. I did get to see Rick and Lee Jones. I never saw him live.
Oh my God, you gotta do that. You've been on the road.
Yeah, I never did see him live. I would have loved to. I did see Carole King. I did see Ricky Lee Jones, thank God. Fiona Apple, I've never gotten to see her live. I worship the ground that crazy motherfucking genius walks on. There's so many though. I mean, I'm such a fan of so many. I have seen Sabbath, but not like back in the heyday. But I love that. I got to see Snoop. I have seen Marilyn Manson. That was the bomb. I never got to see Courtney Love live. I would have loved to have seen that. I adore Lana Del Rey. I'd love to see her live. Melody Gardot. There's so many. I mean, Chris Cornell, I got to tour with them.
Oh, wow.
So I did Lollapalooza. So it was Metallica. And then before them was Soundgarden, and before them was Rancid, and I went on when Soundgarden went on, so I did get to see those guys for that whole thing, and that was amazing. I was lucky to get to see that, but like I never got to see Alice in Chains, and I loved and adored Lane Staley. Oh my God. But when he did that album, God, my favorite Mad Season.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that album was so incredible. Above, yeah, that was incredible. But I never got to see him live. There's so many, you guys. I could go on forever for so many different genres. I wish I could have seen Thelonious Monk. A lot of that big band, Billie Holiday. I would have died. I would have died to see Frank Sinatra. Yeah. So, but I got to see Amy Winehouse. That was a big one. Cool. That was a big one. Yeah.
What's the coolest piece of tour memorabilia that you have?
It's not that I have, it's what my husband has. So my husband is such a road dog, and he toured with Ozzy forever because he was best friends with Randy Castillo. He was Randy's drum tech. Yeah. And then my sister Sharon, who passed, her husband was Jakey Lee. So he was the guitar player after Randy Rhoads died for years with Ozzy. So there's this whole connection there within the family, which is really weird. But Scotty's got millions of backstage passes.
Wow.
So from everything. And then Scotty knows all those guys. So if you go into Scotty's office, he's got pictures of him with Lane and with Ozzy and just all of them. And then he's got a lot of Randy Castillo's artwork that he gave Scott because Randy loved Scott so much. But yeah, like all those guys, that whole rock scene is real close with my husband. He also toured with Motley Crue for a long time. So he took care of Vince and you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So it's Scotty that's got all the great memorabilia. I don't really have anything like that. The only thing I have is a guitar from Jeff Beck, which is pretty badass.
Hello.
But it's yeah. So I got one of those.
A Purple Rain cover is amazing.
Oh my God. Isn't Jeff just the bomb of bombs? Oh my God. And he's so humble and he's so nervous and he's terrified before he plays. And I love it. And he's 3 hours a day on his guitar.
Wow.
And it just goes to show you, like, talent is one thing, but that nervousness to work really hard and show up and daily do it, that's what pays off. And the humility behind that. And that's what makes me worship Jeff and Buddy Guy, man. That dude, man, the best freaking saying ever. You don't stop playing when you get old. You get old when you stop playing. And that is Buddy Guy all the way. That's why, what is he, almost 90? And he's still putting the microphone down and standing 20 feet away from it, singing in front of 100,000 people, and everybody can hear him playing with his teeth. I mean, it's just, gotta love these people, man. They just keep going. It's awesome.
How crazy was it for you to be playing at that Kennedy Honors?
Oh my God.
Highlighting Buddy Guy.
So, so the craziest thing about it is this, and I got to tell you this, like I told y'all, I get nervous about everything, right? Everything. I didn't get nervous. It's the first time in my career I didn't get nervous. I can't tell you why. Maybe I was so nervous that my brain had to shut itself down to handle it. Maybe that happened. I don't know. But it was a 3-day event. So it wasn't just performing that night before Buddy Guy and the other beautiful people that were being honored. They're like Zeppelin. And there were several others. Yeah, they were there. And it was a crazy amount of artists in the audience. And then it was all those senators and people, but it was also a state dinner. So I got to meet Hillary Clinton. I got to talk to Bill Clinton. And then I got to go into the White House. I got to meet Obama and Michelle.
Whoa.
I met a lot of people there.
That's cool.
But here, it was so cool. And I got to meet with all the guys from Zepp, except for Bonham, of course. But I got to meet the guys with Zepp because I was with Jeff. But here is what was the creme de la creme for me, you guys. So I started playing cello when I was in the 4th grade, and I was addicted to it. And I played cello for years and years and years. And classical music was my ultimate love as a child. So I would go see Yo-Yo Ma at the Hollywood Bowl. And Yo-Yo Ma was such a child prodigy that no one Philharmonic owned him. They would lease him out. So he would travel through differently. He was like a great piece of art that gets rented out and it tours all the museums around the world. That's how badass Yo-Yo Ma was, right? So here I go playing Kennedy Center. And after the show that night, there's an evening gala. So everybody, they got us in one hotel who's playing. And I'm walking to the elevator to go upstairs to change. And who's in the elevator? It's Yo-Yo Ma. And he walks out. He looks me in the eye, and he puts his arms around me, and he starts making goo goo gaga baby noises and hugs me. He doesn't say any words in English. He just rocks me back and forth and walks away. And I just start crying. And I was just like, man, that was it for me. That's what did it right there, man. Yep. It was unbelievable. Oh, and I got to sit at the when you walk in and you meet Hillary, who greets you for this dinner, the state dinner. To my left, the table is Aretha Franklin sitting there.
Oh my God!
And I won't go near. I can't handle it. I get so starstruck. Right, Scott goes right up there and talks to her. I mean, he's talking to everybody. But who's sitting next to me at my table? One of my childhood heroes, Tracy Chapman.
Oh,
sitting right next to me
Ooh.
with their sister, and I can't even eat. Like, I'm trying to eat, I can't even eat. I'm just shaking because I can't believe. And I knew that record, that first record she put out, every song.
Yeah.
Wow, just incredible. So yeah, that was such an experience, you guys. What an experience and a gift to have that. And Jeff inviting me to do that, unbelievable. That was unbelievable.
Too bad you couldn't do any Zeppelin that night because
I was thinking.
But I'm sure that you've probably not only there, but followed Robert's musical stuff. And that's one thing going back to the tribute album. A lot of the instrumentation that you put in the Led Zeppelin tribute, you can hear in Robert's solo stuff that he does. I mean, the Mid-Eastern sounds and stuff like that. Just really felt that connection there. And I'm sure that he's going to completely enjoy that.
God, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. It'll be interesting to see if we hear anything back from them about that. I hope we don't upset them. I hope they like it.
Oh,
No,
I don't know how
you're good.
Yeah. I mean, this record is just so good. Sure, Led Zeppelin stands by itself, and you've got to have cojones and ovaries to even attempt to do that stuff.
Yeah, man. And you know what? That's how you know how crazy I am to even have freaking done it. And that's how crazy COVID drove me. Crazy enough to have done it. Because when I was sane, I said, no way. And then when I lost all my shit, that's when I said, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, it comes out and it stands right up there, and you should be so proud of that. Everybody that worked on it, all the musicians and Rob and everybody, just a tremendous record, and congratulations. And I wish you nothing
I can't wait to tell Rob that.
Wish you nothing but continued success and blissfulness and happiness, because that's really what it's.
Thank you.
That's what it's all about, right?
You're a sweetheart. Thank you. That's so nice. And it is what it's all about.
Yeah,
You're so right.
Yeah. And I'm so happy you have Scott too. That's so great.
Thank God. I don't know how I got so lucky, you guys. He's a good one.
Yeah. Well, you're a good one too. So just thank you for that beautiful work you do, and be nice to yourself.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your love and compassion and the opportunity to do this today and listening to me gab and go on. You both are very patient little angels over there.
No, it was beautiful to hear you, Beth.
It was like a session.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's like therapy.
Yeah, I've been there before. Hi, I'm Rita.
My name is CW. I'm a talkaholic.
Alcoholic, me too. I'm every kind of alcoholic. Jesus Christ. Forgive me, Lord.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Beth.
Continue to be blessed and just, you deserve just so much happiness and peace. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you
Namaste.
so much.
Mwah.
Namaste.
God bless, guys.
Okay.
Namaste all the way. All right.
Well, she's such a humble person. And she posts like every day. She's been posting because she's on tour now. She's been posting stuff on Instagram, and it's just like, sometimes it's the dress rehearsals. Sometimes it's just her playing and showing her appreciation to the audience and stuff. So I know that she's very blessed, and you can tell, in the interview that she's really appreciates where she's at right now. And she's like you said, she's overcome a lot of hurdles.
And just an amazing voice, and just how she carries some of the songs. But definitely go back and see her. I know she was just here recently at the Saban, I think it was. But she'll be coming back around, and just an amazing.
And she's got
talent.
a bunch more places she's doing right now. So if you're listening anywhere, check it out. Thank you, Beth Hart, for connecting with us right before your tour.
Love you.
And also thank you to John Bleacher, could be John Bleacher, for coordinating the interview.
You can purchase the new album vinyl and CD versions at bethhart.com.
Or you can check out the new album by listening wherever you stream your music.
You can follow Beth on social media at Facebook and Instagram at official Beth Hart, Hart. Twitter at Beth Hart.
Also, check out our show notes at our website, rockandrollconfessional.rocks, where there's links to order Beth's new album, along with some great videos, including her at the Kennedy Center honors with Jeff Beck. And there's also a version of Strange Fruit that she talks about doing.
Wow.
And also there's some great videos on there we put up there, but she also does another, it's not the Kennedy Center honors, but another time she worked with Jeff Beck where she does a version of Purple Rain where Steven Tyler comes out and sings with her. So, there's some really cool videos. So check it out. Also, there's some early Star Search videos that she was on the show with Ed McMahon in the 1980s, late 1980s. Wow. So she did quite well, but she looks quite different and sounds a lot different. Yeah, so check it out. Anyway, again, support our podcast by subscribing wherever you can, write a review, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
All right. Well, here's a trivia question. You want to ask the question again, CW?
You ask. It's your question, man.
Okay. The Led Zeppelin song Kashmir was not originally called Kashmir. What was the original song title? Was it Yellow Desert Stream, Driving to Kashmir, Kashmir Valley Girl, or My Shangri-La?
Mm-hmm.
Would you believe?
Would you believe?
Kashmir Valley Girl. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Yellow Desert Stream. What was that? A stream of what in the desert? What the hell?
I don't know, but if you're in the desert long enough, I'm thinking.
That's good. Well, the correct answer is Driving to Kashmir. Robert Plant once stated that the inspiration for the song came on a road trip because the road went on and on. Done. Just kind of like our banter today.
Yeah, just like our Yellow Desert Stream. It just goes on and on and on.
Oh, God, we're toast. We need another vacation.
All right, we'll see you in 3 months.
No, we have exciting stuff planned for you.
Yeah.
But thank you for your patience in following the show. And thank you, everybody who was a Patreon subscriber before. We appreciate that. But let's just do this so people can save their money for gasoline and other things. And just do us a favor and spread the little seed, like Johnny Appleseed. Go spread the little seed of rock and roll confessional out there.
Yeah, perfect. That's it. Okay. Thanks, everybody, so much for listening. Appreciate it. We'll talk to everybody later.
Bye-bye.